Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about Shin Megami Tensei 5's DLC. So the Nintendo eShop just now updated, and so we can actually get a clear view of what each of the DLCs are going to be. They did the Volume 4 news thing for Shin Megami Tensei 5, but I wasn't 100% sure what the exact prices were going to be for all of the DLC and what exactly they were going to do for us. But in today's video, we're going to be going over all of the different DLCs that are going to be available for this game day one. So if you didn't know, you can get these exactly on day one, and you can go ahead and pre-order most of these DLCs. And we have a brand new digital, sort of, I guess, deluxe version of the game that you can also buy now, which kind of sucks because I know a lot of people were like, I'm getting my game digitally. I wish I would have known about this. And a lot of people like canceled pre-orders and things like that. Super strange, but either way, let's go ahead and jump into this. The game releases November 12th, if you didn't know that already. But yeah, the game releases November 12th. But let's go ahead and hop on down to the different DLCs here. So you can see there is this game plus the DLC bundle, which is going to be that $85. And if you do end up getting the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Deluxe Edition, the Digital Deluxe Edition, there are no physical versions that you can get that have all the DLCs for this included. You will eventually later have to buy like a sort of like DLC bundle that you can get later. Right now, I cannot actually see any of the DLC bundles. Like, I can see them separately, but there is no bundle that you can get like standalone. Let's say if you get like a physical copy of the game, you can't just get something that has all the DLC in it for some reason. I don't know why. That just hasn't shown up yet, but eventually it will. But let's just talk about what is included inside of the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Digital Deluxe Edition. So if you do get this version of the game, you're technically going to be saving $5 opposed to getting each of the DLC individually. So you do end up saving $5 if you do it this way. So you get the Shin Megami Tensei 5 full game, the safety difficulty, all three of the different Mitama dances, which we're going to be going over here in a second. The Goddess of Training, the Rage of the Queen, the Doctor's Last Wish, Return of the True Demon, and the Japanese Voices, which, by the way, I believe the Japanese Voices is going to be free. The safety difficulty is also something that is free as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of that stuff is free. What you're basically going to be paying for with this Digital Deluxe Edition, all the extra content that you're going to be getting, is the stuff I have highlighted there. Those are technically all of the DLC in the game. And these four particular ones right here are all meant towards actually making the game easier for you. All three of the Mitama dances and the safety difficulty obviously make the game easier for you. The actual like full-on like DLC stuff that gives you extra like in-game content that you can use towards like demons and like a little bit of story and some side quests and stuff like that are those four DLC there. But let's actually go over what each of these DLC are so you can sort of get an idea of what is in the Digital Deluxe Edition or what ones you might want to get standalone by themselves. You can see there's varying prices depending on which one you're going for, but let's just start here at the top. So this is the Rage of the Queen. So grants access to the sub-quest, the Rage Queen. In this quest, players will be able to take on the feminine Cleopatra and even recruit her should they prove victorious. So it says, after progressing to a certain point in the game, talk to the Bethel Researcher in the Tokyo Diet Building to begin the subquest. So you actually end up getting this subquest by going to this Tokyo building there in the Bethel Research Center, and once completed, you will have the option to fight Cleopatra as many times as you want, which I believe then means that you can eventually recruit her if you actually end up beating her, or you end up beating her in battle, then you're able to recruit her afterwards. I'm not 100% sure, but that's Cleopatra there for $3. The Goddess of Training grants access to the subquest, a Goddess in Training. In this quest, players will be able to take on Megami, Artemis, and even recruit her should they prove victorious. So after progressing to the certain point in the game, talk to the Bethel Research in the Tokyo Diet Building. So this is the same one to get the side quest. Once completed, you will have the option to fight Artemis as many times as you want. So you can fight him as many times as you want, or fight her as many times as you want, and will also be able to get them as well. It is recommended that this subquest be attempted at least halfway through the game, it says here. And that says the same thing for Cleopatra though, but it says towards the end of the game. So Cleopatra is an end game thing, while Artemis is going to be a halfway through thing. So it looks like certain DLCs, they recommend you doing like halfway through. I'm not too sure why. Let's move on here to the Doctor's Last Wish. So grants access to the subquest, the Doctor's Last Wish. In this quest, players will be able to take on the Tyrant Mistofo and even recruit him as they prove victorious. It's recommended to be doing this near the end of the game as well. So this is another in-game near thing. It's once again the Tokyo Diet Building. That is where you get that sub quest again as well. And this is also $3. I'm not too sure why this one's $5. It might be because this one's like a midway, halfway through thing. I'm not too sure, or it's just a really good demon or something like that. 100% sure why that is there. And then we have the 3 Mitamas here and the Return of the True Demon, which is going to be the $10 one. But it makes sense as to why that one's so expensive. In my opinion, these 3 Mitama ones are kind of like the ones you don't really want. I don't really see the point in these. You kind of just grind in the game. I guess this is if you want to like spend less time. If your time is more valuable than your money, then I guess these kind of make sense for you. But let's just kind of go over these. But increases the spawn rate of Katsui Mitama, demons that drop items and that give the protagonist XP. The Ara Mitama demons drop and give the ally demons XP. So basically what this does here is it basically just ends up letting you have the ability to get more XP for the protagonist and XP for the demons, it says here. This is still a low chance of Mitama spawning even without this DLC. So there's a really like low spawn rate that you can get for these, but if you have these, the spawn rate is increased a little bit. But apparently, even if you have the DLC, there's still a low chance of doing this. $3 for this, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. And the wealth one is kind of self-explanatory. Get the Saki one, get you know, they drop items that can be sold for more Maka. Basically, this is more money. So more XP for you and your demons, more money basically through the Maka one, the wealth one here. And then we have the Mitama Dance of Miracles. So this is the one that's interesting, and this is the one we have absolutely like no idea like what this even really is going to do, other than we know a little bit about it just from like the gameplay and stuff we've seen, but we don't know how important miracles are going to be in the game. They seem decently important, so I'm like pointing towards this one maybe being the one that sort of matters more than the XP or wealth one, but it's kind of hard to tell. Increases the spawn rate of the Nigi Mitama, demons that drop items that give the protagonist glory, points needed to learn more miracles. So you're going to be able to get more glory if you have the Dance of Miracles Mitama, which then allows you to actually buy more miracles, it says there. And it's just here, there's still a low chance of Mitama spawning even without the DLC. You can revert to the spawn rate mid-game from the options menu. So you can turn this off if you don't want to do this kind of stuff, but I don't know. These three seem kind of, I don't know, it's really just if you want to save time, basically. That's kind of how I see them. If you want to save time in the game, those 3 Mitama things are really the thing for you. Like I said, it's a money over time sort of deal. If you have the Digital Deluxe version of the game, I guess these are kind of thrown in there, but for all these being $9 altogether, almost a $10 purchase just to be able to get more XP for you, your demons, more money, and I guess more miracles. We don't really know the significance of miracles just yet in the game. Let's go over the big baddie, the big one here, the $10 one. So this one is pretty interesting, although a little disappointing on the one certain point, but let's go over this. So this grants access to the sub-quest Return of the True Demon. In this quest, players will be able to take on and recruit the legendary 9 fiends: Matador, Hellbiker, White Rider, Red Rider, Black Rider, Pale Rider, Mother Harlot, and the Trumpeteer, which is super, super interesting. But I believe this might be letting one out. I'm pretty sure Matador, Hellbiker, White Rider, Red Rider, I think Daisoju is also included in this as well. But weirdly enough, it doesn't say anything about it. But during the little bit of like gameplay and stuff that we had seen from this DLC in the last like SMT 5 like music, or not music, but like the actual news volume thingy here, we had seen that Daisoju was in there. So weirdly enough, it doesn't include Daisoju in this, but I don't know. But it says the challenge doesn't stop here, however, for upon defeating the fiends, players will then be able to challenge the strongest opponent of them all, the Demi-Fiend. So yes, we get to fight Demi-Fiend, but it says down here, note, that you cannot recruit the Demi-Fiend, which is the saddest part here, but we still get to have all the other fiends, the riders, the Trumpeteer, Mother Harlot, Hellbiker, and Matador, which is still pretty cool, and I think Daisoju as well. It doesn't say anything here, but imagine you can just fuse Daisoju. Maybe Daisoju is already in the game, so that's why they didn't include it here. But of course, having some of these dudes, you should be able to then fuse Daisoju. I think that's what's going on. I'm not too sure, but I mean, having Trumpeteer alone is pretty good. I'm not sure if there is like a ranking here, if they're going to make Matador better than Trumpeteer. I'd imagine they would, but I'm not 100% sure. But you can get all of the Fiends and fight the Demi-Fiend, which is pretty cool. It says, after progressing to a certain point in the game, you'll be able to then begin the subquest when visiting the World of Shadows. So you actually go to the World of Shadows. So the thing that to notice is that the Doctor's Last Wish, the Rage Queen, and the Goddess in Training bring you all to like this little subquest you can find at the Bethel Research place. But in this one, it's actually different. This subquest actually brings you to the World of Shadows, which is pretty cool. The Fiends will make their appearances as you progress through the story. So as you progress through the story, you'll actually run into the different Fiends. I think similar to how SMT 3 is. So it's pretty cool, guys. You actually get to fight the Fiends as you go through the story instead of hitting them all at one time, which I think is super cool, considering about how many Fiends. It says 3 or 9 legendary Fiends here. Pretty cool that you get to fight them as you go along instead of fighting them all at once or like one after another, which is pretty cool to have. I'm glad they have that. But once completed, you will not be able to fight the Fiends again, but you will have the option to fight the Demi-Fiend as many times as you want. So Demi-Fiend you can fight as many times as you want, and the other Fiends you can sort of fight along your way, and I think you also can recruit them as well. So you have all the Fiends and fight Demi-Fiend. It says here at the game, so it's recommended that the challenging of the Fiends be attempted some way halfway through the game, so that's the Fiends, but challenging the Demi-Fiend is best attempted in post-game. So it literally says, not towards the end of the game, but actually post-game. So once you beat it, it recommends that you then go and fight Demi-Fiend. So it looks like we have a couple different boss fights here that are going to be like midway boss fights, and then one that is going to be in-game boss fight. All of the Fiends are going to be progressing through the game as you play, and the Demi-Fiend is going to be your last, like, real post-game thing. It recommends you just flat out beat the game and then have that be your post-game. So you have some midway bosses, end bosses, post-game bosses, and 3 different things that are there to help you out throughout the game. Of course, then you have the Japanese voices, which isn't listed here. That'll be a free thing. And also the safety difficulty, again, not listed here, but that is also going to be something that is free. As far as we can tell, that is all of the DLCs, so far at least, that we know are going to be out day 1 of SMT 5. I'd imagine they're going to have, like, maybe cosmetic DLCs or other side DLCs in the future, but this is currently all that we have. Of course, you get all of this stuff bundled in with the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Digital Deluxe Edition, and like I said, if you buy all of these individually, it's around $30, but if you end up getting it in the Digital Deluxe bundle here, it's technically you're getting all the DLC for just $25, so you save about $5. But I do believe that they said there is going to be just a flat-out DLC bundle where you can get all of this DLC together for just $25. So if you do have the game physically, I think as we get towards the release of the game, they're going to release a $25 bundle where you can get all this DLC in the bundle for just $25, which is good, and I'm glad that they are doing that. Like I said, there's all the DLC possible for the game as soon as the game releases anyway. There might be some in the future, like I said, but overall, this isn't too bad. I think the Return of the True Demons, the really good one, and maybe like the, the Goddess of Training, if you really like that sort of thing there with Artemis, and of course also having Cleopatra is pretty cool. Like I said, it kind of just depends on what you kind of like here. If there's certain demons that you think are cool, like Cleopatra, they go for Cleopatra. It's really sort of preference. The only weird thing is this one's $5 instead of $3 like the other two are, but I don't know. I think it makes sense why the Return of the Demon is so expensive. You're basically paying like $1 per demon when it comes to this, and then the Demi-Fiend fight's kind of like $2 almost, I guess you could say, or $1 amongst itself. So this one you really end up getting the most demons for. I don't know how strong they're all going to be. I think Cleopatra and Artemis and some of these the Doctor one here, I think they're going to be pretty strong and are meant to help you midway through the game and like more towards end game, and the Fiends kind of are going to be there along the way. But I don't know, this might be a pretty good thing. I think personally, what I'm going to do when this game comes out is I think I'm just going to get the Return of the Demon and maybe like the Cleopatra one, just so I could have something for mid-game, because I believe she's mid-game as well. So of course we attempted near the end of the game, so she's actually in-game stuff, never mind. But I guess I'll have something in-game, and I'll have the Fiends all throughout the game. I think that's a pretty good bet. I don't really want to double down and get all of this DLC. I really don't care about the Mitamas here, because I know I'm going to be grinding the heck out of this game. I have no problem with that. So I don't want anything to make it easier. I don't think I need anything to make it easier. The game is 12.8 gigabytes. I'm going to throw that in there because I think this is going to be the last video where I just talk about what's included in the game and what you're going to be getting. We only have one more trailer. That's going to be October 28th, I believe. So that, for the most part, is all we got. This game comes out the 12th. Like I said, I think the 11th in Japan. So we're not really too far away from this. The last trailer being the 28th. That's going to be the last bit of new information we have, so make sure that you click the bell and subscribe to the channel so you can get notified whenever that ends up happening. I'll keep you informed on that, and I'll keep you up to date on everything Shin Megami Tensei 5. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Hopefully this cleared up a little bit on the DLC, maybe what you want. Comment down below, what are you going to be getting? What do you think is worth it? What do you think is a little too expensive? I think there's a couple things in there that aren't quite worth it. The Mitamas especially, it's kind of like a yawn moment. The Return of the Demon, I think, is the coolest one. Cleopatra is pretty cool as well. Those two are the ones I've had my eyes on. I think I'm going to be getting that. Let me know, what are you going to be getting? Are you going to be getting the Digital Deluxe Bundle? Did you cancel your pre-order so you can actually get this? I've seen a couple people on Twitter, a couple people on Facebook saying they literally canceled pre-orders so that they actually could get the game with all the DLC bundled in. I don't know. It's so strange that Atlas randomly just decided to show us all this DLC and put it on there before, you know, people already did a bunch of pre-orders for it. I don't know. It's kind of strange, but I'll keep you up to date. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching.